Hello, my name is Danielle Wagner and I work as a Regulatory Process Specialist in the Office of the Registrar at the HRPA. For those looking to pursue the CHRP or the CHRL designations, the coursework requirement must be met to register for and write the exams. The alternate route experience stream is an alternative way to meet the requirement without having to complete the 9 required courses. This can also include a combination of valid courses and experience. This video will provide an overview of the alternate route, which is one way for you to meet the coursework requirement. To find the alternate route application form, I go to HR designations. Here, the alternate route is listed on the first row of the HR designations section. Something to note is that there are 2 streams of the alternate route. In this segment specifically, I will be talking about the experience stream. This is the application form that you would need to fill out in order to meet this requirement. Section A of the application form is the applicant information. You want to make sure to fill out the information as it would be in the HRPA database. Your first and last name will also want to match the records. For your HRPA member number, also known as your registration number, you will need to include this as well. However, if you are not able to access this, you can contact somebody in the Office of the Registrar at the HRPA that can provide this to you. Please note that you would need to be an active registrant of the HRPA in order to apply for the alternate route. In terms of your address, once again, please ensure that it does also reflect as the same address in the HRPA database. If you are unsure as to whether or not it does, please contact somebody in the Office of the Registrar as well. You'll want to provide your primary phone number in the case that we need to get in contact with you if something is not clear in your application. This also applies to your email. Section B is the alternate route points summary. Depending on the positions that you are submitting for, it is up to you as the applicant to identify how many points per year your experience would be worth. Please note that you cannot apply both of these categories or more than one to each of your positions that you're submitting for. For example, if you're submitting for the role of HR manager at an organization, and you feel that the experience is at a professional level in HR, you will want to either choose experience at a professional level in HR or experience at a managerial level with significant HR responsibilities. Either one of these is worth 5 points per year. You cannot, however, claim that it is in both categories, which would be 10 points per year. You would need to choose the one that is most applicable. This section is the section where you outline which positions are worth which amount of points. At a high level, number 1 refers to other HR-related designations that you might hold. Please see the appendix for point calculation summary. Number 2, responsibility for the overall HR function in a medium to large organization, is worth 10 points per year. The points approved section is for office use only and is how we would determine how many points you are submitting for. Number 3 is practice in employment law. Number 4 addresses experience at a professional level in HR. Number 5 is experience at a managerial level with significant HR responsibilities of 51% or more time spent doing HR work in the role. Number 6 refers to experience as an independent HR consultant. There is a form included in this application form specifically for consultant experience, which you might choose to use. Number 7 refers to experience teaching an HR course at an accredited institution. Please refer to our school search tool available on the HRPA website for a list of current HRPA approved courses. Lastly, number 8 refers to completion of any of the 9 required courses in HR. Approved courses can be found using the school search tool as well. Please note that these individual courses must have been taken within the past 10 years and meet the required grade level, which is 65% or higher, in order to qualify. Either experience on its own or a combination of courses, other HR designations, and experience might qualify for the 50 points required. Section C refers to supporting documentation. The following is a list of required supporting documentation that must be submitted for each of the items listed in the chart above. Please note that in order for this application to be considered complete, supporting documentation must be submitted with the application. In terms of other HR-related designations that might qualify towards the alternate route, proof of the current designation must come in the form of a letter or an email sent directly from the organization to the HRPA confirming that the designation is in good standing. For alternate route items 2 to 7, the experience questionnaire located in Section D of the application must be completed. For alternate route item number 8, the completion of any of the 9 required courses in HR, an official hard copy original transcript from the academic institution must be submitted with the application. Approved courses can be found on the school search tool available on our website at www.hrpa.ca. As mentioned, please note that these individual courses must have been taken within the past 10 years and meet the minimum grade criteria of 65% or higher. Section D is the Professional HR Experience Questionnaire. You'll want to make sure to review all of the information provided and make sure that the questionnaire aligns with the supporting documentation that you are providing. If you are submitting points for items that require you to fill out the questionnaire, your completed questionnaire must be accompanied by the following documentation: a chronological resume, which includes an employment history with start and finish dates listed for each position. Please be sure to include the month and the year you began the position, as well as the year that you ended the position. Dates on the resume must coincide with the dates listed on the job questionnaires. If for some reason they do not coincide, please provide a short letter of explanation as to why this is the case. Job descriptions detailing current and relevant jobs must also be provided. Employer documents are preferred, but they are not mandatory. Supporting documentation must span the entire period that you are submitting. If you're submitting teaching experience, a detailed description of the courses must also be submitted. Lastly, you'll want to include organizational charts detailing the reporting structure within the organization. Please include information indicating the size of the organization. These organizational charts can either be official company documents, but duplications created by the applicant are also acceptable. In terms of completing the questionnaire, you'll want to make copies of the questionnaire and complete a separate copy for each of the positions that you're submitting for. If you find that you need more space, please feel free to provide additional documentation in a Microsoft Word document that you can attach along with your application. Please also ensure that all application documents are submitted on 8.5 by 11 size paper. This makes it easier for HRPA staff to prepare your application accordingly. You'll want to start with your most recent position and then move through your previous positions. You'll want to submit information for each position as far back as needed to accumulate the required points. However, only experience within the past 10 years of when you are submitting an application would qualify. In the application questionnaire, you'll see that there are 4 dimensions of professional level experience that each of your positions will need to meet in order to qualify. First is the independence of actions. This relates to the amount of planning, self-direction, decision-making, and autonomy involved in the work experience. Depth of work requirements, which relates to the extent to which work experience requires information analysis and interpretation of relevant information. Level of interaction, which relates to the degree to which the individual interacts with a broad spectrum of contacts, including decision makers. And lastly, responsibility for work outcome, which relates to the level of accountability for work and decisions. Once again, you'll want to look at this criteria and try making direct connections with your specific experience. The first page of the job questionnaire consists of information pertaining to the position held, the company and organization in which you held the position, and the length of service in the position. Number 1 in the job questionnaire asks you to identify the portion of time spent doing HR work in the role or supervising the delivery of HR services. Number 2 asks you to describe the level of autonomy in your position. You'll want to think about the kind of decisions or actions that you are empowered to make in your role. Number 3 asks you to identify and describe the kinds of data gathering, analysis, and interpretation that you are typically required to do in your position. Number 4 asks you to describe the level of your interactions both within and outside of your organization. You'll have to think of who you typically interact with both internally and externally on a day-to-day basis, as well as the bigger picture. Number 5 asks you to describe your accountabilities in your role. What does your organization hold you accountable for? Section E is the alternate route fee page in which you need to provide your payment information for the application. The fee for the alternate route is $500 plus HST and it is non-refundable. Here you'll need to select your method of payment and provide your credit card information if applicable. If you are paying by check, you can provide the check within the application form and indicate that your check is your method of payment. Section F is an important section of the application. This is your declaration. This shows that you understand that you are applying to have your alternate route application form reviewed for the purposes of meeting the coursework requirement for the HRPA. You are attesting that all information on this form and any supporting documentation is accurate, complete, and fairly represents the education and experience. You are also indicating that you recognize it is a breach of HRPA's rules of professional conduct to provide false or misleading information in your application. It is important that you sign the declaration and mark it with the date in which you complete your application. In Appendix A, you'll find other information that might be useful to you when completing your application. Here you'll see the list of other HR designations that are worth a certain amount of points towards the alternate route. The following designations are worth 20 points towards the alternate route, which you can see listed here. Below, you can see the designations that are worth 10 points towards the alternate route. This section of the application form provides an overview of what it means for a position to be at the professional level. Upon review of your application, a panel of the Experience Assessment Committee reviews the application to determine if it falls within the scope of practice of HR. If they determine that it is within the scope of practice, they then move on to determine whether or not it meets the 4 dimensions of professional level experience. They do this for each of the positions you are submitting for. Please note, all of the 4 dimensions must be met in order for a position to be approved. You can find these 4 dimensions up above. They include independence of action, depth of work requirements, level of interaction, and responsibility for work outcome. It is recommended that you use this criteria and consider it when putting together your application. You'll want to look at the 4 dimensions and try making direct connections to your experience. Once again, these 4 dimensions must be met for each of the positions that you're submitting for. This section of the application form provides some examples of different types of experience that may or may not qualify. This is something to be mindful of and consider when completing your application. This section of the application form provides an overview of the Experience Assessment Committee and their role in assessing your experience. The Independent HR Consultant form is designed to allow HRPA members to submit information pertaining to the work of consulting. You might choose to use this when putting together your experience for consulting, or stick with the original application form itself. The Independent HR Consultant form is not mandatory when submitting consulting experience. I hope this video has answered all of your questions about the alternate route. If you require further assistance in completing your application, please contact somebody within the Office of the Registrar at registrar@hrpa.ca. Thank you.